Okay guys, so this time we're going to be using trig ratio identities. So first of all, let's look at this problem 9 here, and let's approach it the way I initially taught you. Okay, if we were to draw a quick sketch of our coordinate system, right, we know that sine, that's our y coordinate, is positive. Our cosine here, they're telling us, is a negative. This is our x coordinate, right? Where is x negative but sine positive? Right over here in quadrant number 2, right? Good old Q2 over here. Okay, and so then I taught you, well, okay, draw in your right triangle. Here would be my theta. Theta always goes from the origin, right? Here will be my angle theta. Okay, and we can then take the sine of theta, which is the opposite. So I would say this is 3 over hypotenuse. And then we could take cosine theta. Notice it's a negative, so I would say negative 4 over the 5 hypotenuse. Now, I'm going a little fast because hopefully you're kind of familiar with this. But as you can see, we now can find tangent and cotangent very easily, right? Remember, tangent's going to be the opposite over the adjacent, negative 4. So we would say that's negative 3/4. The cotangent is just simply the reciprocal of it. So we would say the cotangent is negative 4/3. Okay? But there's a big but here, guys. So this one's doable. But now this one, we have a radical in there, right? And this one, we have 4 unique individual values here. So hopefully you realize that just going the way I initially taught you can be inefficient depending on the problem. So what we're going to do is be a little clever here, and you guys are going to like this, okay? What we're going to do instead is say, you know what? Don't we know that the tangent of theta by its identity is the sine of theta over cosine theta? Now I have this written on my wall, information wall, excuse me, to remind you. But if we just use this ratio, guys, we can save ourselves all of this work I did by sketching it out this time. So this, in other words, is a efficient, quick shortcut. So you ready? So how would I find the tangent of theta? Well, I know that the tangent of theta is simply sine over cosine. Now here's a cool little trick you should learn. Since my denominators are both 5, I'm going to times both top and bottom by 5, cancel them out. Oh, I messed up. Cosine was negative 4/5. There we go. So sorry about that. So notice what I get is 3 over negative 4, or negative 3/4. And then, of course, cotangent, you could memorize it as cosine over sine, but what I would do is always just know that tangent is sine over cosine, and when I want a cotangent, I do its reciprocal. So the reciprocal, again, would be negative 4/3. All right, now let's try this one without any sketching. You ready? What is the tangent of theta? I'm simply going to take the sine over the cosine. No sketch required. If I times by 13, I know I get negative 5 over negative 12, which simplifies to 5 over 12. And this is my tangent. What do I do to find cotangent? Just do the reciprocal. Cotangent is simply 12 over 5. Okay, let's do the next one. You may want to pause the video and try it yourself. But anyways, here we go. What is the tangent? We're going to take the sine over the cosine. Now this one, we don't have a common denominator, so we're going to do it old school here. We're going to take 1/2, and dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. See what I just did here, guys? I did the reciprocal of square root of 2 over 3. And so I'm going to get 3 over 2 square root of 2. Now, we got to rationalize. So it's 3 square root of 2 over 4. What about the cotangent? All I need to do is do the reciprocal. Now, as I told you in class, do the reciprocal from the original one before you rationalize it. If I flip this over, I know it's 2 square root of 2 over 3. This is the cotangent of our theta. If you flip this one over, guys, you're going to have to rationalize and simplify once again. So I recommend to remember to do the reciprocal of the original answer before it's rationalized. All right, one more. You can pause the video and try it first. Okay, so I hope you agree that the tangent of theta is going to be the sine over the cosine. Now again, because our denominators are different, I'm going to take the 2/5. I'm going to times by the reciprocal. I took this and did the reciprocal, guys, because hopefully you know that dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And so notice I get 12/5. Now, what about the cotangent? Well, that's just simply 5 over 12. So guys, hopefully what this video taught you is that it's cool to know how to do sketches as I taught you, and use Pythagorean theorem potentially to find a missing side, and then you could do all 6 trig ratios, right, with that. But sometimes it's just handy to use the trig identity that tangent is always sine over cosine. It just makes our life a lot quicker and simpler in this case. So hopefully you've kind of caught on and learned it from this video. I'll see you in class.